During its investigation, the CSB found that prior to the explosion, the standby reboiler had been out of service for over a year, isolated from the process by closed block valves. But during this 16-month period, liquid propane unintentionally entered the shell of the reboiler, perhaps through a mistakenly opened valve or a leaking block valve. The CSB determined that when the operations supervisor opened the hot water valves to the standby reboiler, the propane liquid trapped inside was heated and expanded in volume to completely fill the reboiler shell. This caused pressure to dramatically increase until the reboiler ruptured.
When identifying overpressure protection requirements for heat exchangers, engineers should evaluate the scenario that caused the Williams explosion. The hot side of the heat exchanger was operated while the cold side was blocked in. In this scenario, just having a pressure relief valve available could have prevented the explosion.
The CSB discovered that in the 12 years leading to the incident, a series of process safety management program deficiencies caused the reboiler to be unprotected from overpressure. When Williams installed the process block valves on the reboilers in 2001, they performed a management of change review to identify how this action affected the safety of the process. The CSB found, however, that Williams did not identify that the new valves could isolate the reboilers from their protective pressure relief valve. Companies are required to conduct a management of change review before making equipment changes, so they may consider the impact of that change on the safety of the process. But the CSB discovered that Williams conducted the management of change review after the process was already operating with the new valves.
We concluded that Williams conducted the delayed management of change to meet regulatory requirements at that point, rather than to use it as a tool to identify and control new process hazards. That was a serious missed opportunity to identify the new overpressure hazard that was introduced to the process by the new valves.
After the 2001 reboiler valve installation, Williams also performed a pre-startup safety review, as required by regulations. But the CSB found that Williams reviewers did not respond to key process safety questions on the form. One of those questions asked, "Are pressure relief systems in place and operational?" That answer was left blank.
Even though the pre-startup safety review document was incomplete and there were questions that were not answered, management approved the form. And the end result was these reboilers were put into service without adequate overpressure protection.
The CSB found that in the following 10 years, Williams performed 3 process hazard analyses, or PHAs, in 2001, 2006, and 2011. None of the PHAs sufficiently identified or controlled the reboiler overpressure hazard. An internal recommendation from the 2006 PHA stated, "Consider locking open at least one of the manual valves associated with each of the propylene fractionator reboilers." While that recommendation was marked as complete, the CSB found that it was not implemented as intended.